objects through a phenomenon known as acoustic levitation or acoustic manipulation, which harness the physical force of sound waves. Here's how it works in different contexts. Sound waves carry energy and force. Sound is a mechanical wave, essentially pressure fluctuations in a medium like air, water, or solid materials. When these waves are intense enough, they can exert force on objects. This is the core idea behind using sound to move things. Acoustic levitation. In this method, high-frequency sound waves, ultrasounds, are used to create standing waves, regions where pressure variations form stable patterns. Standing waves. When two sound waves of the same frequency travel in opposite directions, for example from two speakers facing each other, they can interfere to form nodes, points of no movement, and antinodes, points of maximum pressure. Levitation zones. Small objects can be trapped at the nodes, where the pressure from above and below balances out gravity. This works best with very small, lightweight objects, and is often done with ultrasound, which are frequencies above human hearing, usually 20 to 100 kHz. Acoustic tweezers. Similar to optical tweezers, which use lasers, acoustic tweezers use focused sound beams to trap and move particles in liquids or air. They can manipulate cells, droplets, or microparticles without physically touching them. The technology has potential for biomedical applications, such as moving stem cells or assembling tissue. Sound pressure to move larger objects. Extremely loud sounds, think above 160 decibels, which is dangerously loud, can create shock waves or vibrations that move or even damage physical objects. Explosive blasts or sonic booms can shatter windows or knock over objects. This inspires concepts like sonic weapons or sonic cannons. Resonance effects. Sound can make objects vibrate. If it matches their natural frequency or resonance, this can move or even destroy them. A famous example is resonance shattering a wine glass with a sustained musical note. In engineering, resonance is both a tool and a hazard. For example, bridges collapsing if wind or vibrations match their natural frequency. Real-world uses and experimental setups. Acoustic levitation labs use arrays of ultrasound transducers to levitate and move objects in a 3D space. NASA and other agencies explore acoustic levitation for studying materials in microgravity. Acoustic holograms are used to shape sound fields precisely to manipulate particles in midair. At a precision acoustics lab in Denmark, researchers have engineered an invisible tractor beam made entirely of sound waves. It allows them to levitate, rotate, and steer small objects through midair without any wires, magnets, or contacts. What's even more astonishing is that the system works silently, operating below the human hearing threshold. The beam works by generating complex 3D acoustic fields using phased arrays of ultrasonic speakers. These waves interfere in specific patterns, forming pressure pockets that act like invisible hands in space. The object, be it a droplet, a piece of metal, or a microsensor, is trapped inside and gently moved by adjusting the field wave. Traditional acoustic levitation is limited to simple up and down hovering, but this new design creates dynamic vortexes and knots in the air. allowing researchers to move objects around corners, rotate them in 3D, and even stack them, all in complete silence. The system is precise down to millimeters and works with solid, liquid, or even some gel-like materials. This technology could revolutionize sterile environments where touch is dangerous, handling fragile cells in biomedical labs, assembling microchips without contamination, or even manufacturing in space, where gravity complicates handling. Since it's non-contact and uses no magnetic or optical components, it's safe for delicate biological systems. In future versions, multiple beams could work in concert like fingers, allowing true mid-air manipulation of tools or tissues, and no-contact robotic hand built from sound and physics. Philosophical esoteric note. In esoteric traditions, or speculative thought, sound is often considered a primordial force. In the beginning was the Word. While not literal physics, this metaphor aligns increasingly with the real-world ability of sound to shape and move matter. Everything is vibrating at different levels, and when we match the vibrations of something, we can influence or interact with it. During ceremonies, we vibrate the words through our bodies, rather than just speaking them. Different vibrations work on our different chakras, healing them or activating them, depending on the purpose of the ritual. The concept of vibrating words. To vibrate a word or divine name in ceremonial magic means to intonate it with prolonged sound, resonance, and deep focus, often accompanied by visualization, breath control, and body posture. It's not singing, shouting, or normal speaking, but a kind of ritualized chanting that aims to resonate on multiple levels. Physically, causing sound to vibrate through the chest, throat, or head. Energetically, affecting the body's subtle or spiritual energy fields. Magically, calling forth the power or presence of the deity or force being invoked. Why is vibration used? Activating energy. In ceremonial magic, names are not just labels. They are considered keys to specific powers, forces, or divine aspects. Vibrating a name is thought to tune the magician's energy to the frequency of that force. Amplification of intention. Vibrating words with breath, tone, and focus strengthens the will, which is central to magical efficacy. Purification and transformation. Many ceremonies begin with vibrated names to clear space, raise consciousness, and shift the practitioner's awareness into a magical state. Aligning with the divine. Vibrating sacred names like Yao, Yod-He-Vohe, Adonai, or Iyeh is often a devotional act meant to resonate the human microcosm with the divine macrocosm, a key Gnostic principle. Examples of vibrated words in ritual. Yod-He-Vohe, the Tetragrammaton, the unpronounceable name of God in Hebrew. Adonai, which means my Lord. Iyah Ashahe, I am that I am. Yao, a Gnostic formula invoking life, death, rebirth. Ete, Malkuth, Vige Bura, Vige Dula, Leholam, Amen, from the Kabbalistic cross, often vibrated slowly with intense focus. Ancient technology. When we explore how sound can influence and move objects, It's intriguing to consider that our ancient ancestors may have employed similar techniques to shift enormous stones. This could offer a clue as to how the pyramids and other monumental ancient structures were constructed. Indeed, some of these methods are described in ancient texts passed down through the serpent bloodline. In the parts I have managed to translate, they describe large horns being used that are so loud the people are forced to block their ears, and they detail the dangers caused by getting it wrong. The serpent bloodline were well aware of the dangers of these ideas getting into the wrong claws, and so, like many other techniques, these were hidden when the eagles took over. The Tanakh describes the fall of one of the oldest serpent bloodline cities, Jericho, when the Israelites used our own technology against us. They are said to have circled the city for 7 days with 7 priests blowing 7 horns, which brought the walls of the city down so they could take over. But in reality, this is an allegory, because they never had the technology and didn't know how it worked. The 7s represent the 7 chakras, and how their modern religions and god worship intended on bringing down the teachings that would lead to illumination and free the people they so desperately wanted control over. The text described the horns being used on either side of large objects, and when the sounds matched, the object moves. They also describe how the horns were passed through barriers so they could be used safely. The sound could be directed so precisely they could even use it to cut and shape stone, as well as levitate large blocks. If you found this video interesting, you can find out even more about sound in my somatics video, which is linked to below. Thanks for watching.